a tainig is called a tzura. What's the Indian over there?
Oh, wait a second. You dialed in?
You're talking.
Okay.
Is that AC on?
I'm sorry.
It is? We're getting there. It's fuel because we
Welcome to IDT Connect. Please
distracted.
enter your
It's more
conference ID.
yeah, it's a piece of Shabbos into the
Welcome to the
week.
conference room. Please enter your
Think it will
password
affect us
followed by the pound key. At the tone, please record your name followed by the pound key.
I'm a Paltiel.
Thank you. You are now in participant number 3.
Show's got a number.
Hello. Oh, we have
Let me get
little reverberating.
yeah.
Alright.
Takes remote control. Okay, recording. Want me to open the window maybe? He says no.
The truth is, Tainug, he's saying, is above Chochmah, which means this is the realm that cannot be understood. If we attempt to understand this, the only thing that we can attempt to understand it is how is Tainug related to Etzem and to Etzem? What is the significance of that relationship? That Tainug, he says, Miklal Atmos HaNefesh. Atmos HaNefesh and Tainug, how are they related? What's the similarity between them? So we have spoken about this in general. Approaching the concept of etzem from our worldly experience, our world perspective. As we said, in the world, a rock, that's an etzem. This is the basic building element. And the less significant, the less content it has, the more etzem it is. But then we pointed out that we have to understand that this is only a remote muscle for an etzem. And it's a muscle for an etzem in the sense that this is completely self-contained, and it does not require, so to speak, anything to sustain it. But on the other hand, this is really the furthest thing from etzem, because an etzem that does not sense itself and does not stand for anything, what kind of etzem is it? It's not real. Etzem, as we are presenting Atzmos, it has everything in Etzem level. Not it has nothing. A rock has nothing. Because it has nothing, therefore it's an etzem. This is not etzem. And then it's a moshe for etzem, only in one sense. Therefore, when you talk about the two etzem, just as we always give the moshe, we talked about it yesterday at length, that when you have a cut, the nefesh forces the cut to heal in the most perfect way. The difference between the finger and the nefesh that's in the finger is that the finger is put together, is a precarious presence. The nefesh, the life force that's in it, that's an etzem. That really appreciates what a finger is. Finger is only a flesh receptacle of it. It approximates what it is. It has all the contours and so on to enable the finger to do what it can do, but it does not do it because of that. It has to do it because it has a nefesh in it. The nefesh, that is the etzem, and where do you see the etzem? That is really the etzem, because even if you have a cut, it forces it to heal in a proper way. Because it has a proper way, it has a proper way of, a concept of what the proper way should be. So the etzem means two, in our terminology it will be two opposite aspects. On the one hand, it is totally self-contained. On the other hand, it absolutely has everything. Where is the expression, where is the experience of it has everything? In Ayin. Within that itself, he says that there is Oinag HaPoshut. And it's Oinag HaPoshut because the thing that it has everything is not because it has everything, because it has everything because of its atzmus, the pashtus. The thing that itself, there is Oinag HaMurgosh and Oinag HaBilti Murgosh. Because this whole Inyan that it has everything is because of its atzmius. This having everything does not complement it. Which is part of the truth of its being. Okay?
What's the Murgash and Love and Murgash? What's the Murgash and the Love and Murgash part? In other words, we said even in Tainug HaPoshut you have these two. What are the two?
I explained just now. Lo Murgosh is where it is related to the etzem element, where it's sensed that the whole thing is only because of the atzminus. That's why there is a oina. The Murgosh is where the atzminus element is recognized because of its truth, because of what it is.
I could appreciate itself, so to speak.
Right. For us, from our vantage point, it is always important to remind ourselves of this when Shatan, but it said, "Kol dover ritzi b'kiyumoi." Everything wants to continue. Kiyumoi, it's a sustained being. Why does he want his sustained being? Because in his sustained being, this is where he recognizes that God, the truth that's invested in him. And the godly truth, that is an atzim. That is a real thing.
So just in that what you just in that what you just said, I'm chatting on, I feel like I'm treading on dangerous territory here. But that what you just said, if the emphasis is on the etzem called kiyumai, because this is the etzem element, that's the loba morgash part, and if it's kiyumai, he wants what the etzem created. That's more the morgash
This
part.
Dover Kiyumai is at a much lower level. Just gives us a little bit of a handle on this principle. This is not talking about the etzem. Because this is already, like I said, the human being wants to be a human being. That's etzem. That's his personal experience. It's not an etzem, but it expresses that concept.
You're not dividing it into morgash and love and morgash there.
No. We could, but that's not the point of the mashal. The partial point is that we should understand that there is an inherent truth in everything, and that is what gives it its meaning. And in the etzem, there is the oinik of the etzem. Why is it oinik in the etzem? Because I said that in the etzem there is two aspects. There is the etzem in the fact that it is completely self-sustaining, completely invulnerable, so which is the truth itself, and then at the same time it has everything. Why does it have everything? Because of its inherent true presence. All right, let's continue. So we will start. This is on page Chavei, the upper quarter of the page. The line begins Bob Murgesh Klal. To understand Boba Murgesh, what Boba Murgesh, is literally impossible. Because how can Seichel grasp something that's like Boba Murgesh? The important thing where the Seichel is significant, what is significant for us, is to understand what is the meaning of Tanakh HaPoshim. Why is there such a Tanakh HaPoshim who asks me? And ultimately, this relates us to the godly truth, rather than to the worldly truth. In the world, there are all kinds of shittas, all kinds of approaches to give a person a sense of easement and comfort, and there is a whole cult, what it is, or a religion, where their focus is to focus on something to such an extent that you're totally insensitive to anything. And that means that you have reached the epitome of the human being. in the world, everything that you sense, it's interpreted as a weakness. We say the opposite. But in a sense, that's a strength. That's a koyach hanefesh. This is a sign that you're alive.
Why did they say after? Where are they coming from?
They're coming from the perspective that they're self-made. And therefore, this is a simple Darwinism, right? And therefore, I feel my personal vulnerability, and because of that, I'm constantly involved in pursuing this and pursuing that. When I reach a point when I won't feel my personal vulnerability, that's when I reveal unreal presence. In other words, Montefiore, this is the ultimate reality. Don't laugh. There were whole cults. It wasn't so that long ago. 800-900 people just killed themselves, literally, to reach perfection. What? I don't know the man's name. I'm sure.
Jones and Guyana, wherever it was.
Hundreds of people got together and they destroyed themselves. Why? To reach perfection.
Yeah, not just Meshuggahs. Not just Meshuggahs. Today, a lot of people who follow the Eastern religions, well, today, normal people, doctors, lawyers, they meditate in the morning and the goal is to be pure consciousness where you feel above everything. So
there was nothing there.
Yeah, even normal people.
You don't
doctors, lawyers.
Anyway,
they actually claim to go through.
This is all.
They actually claim to go through a state of nothingness.
Right. So this is the exact opposite of Kiddush. We said the Yesh Hu Amiti. This is Atzmus Elokus, not nothingness. And in Oyneg there is two madrigas. In Oyneg Atzmus there are two madrigas. Oyneg HaPoshut. Madrigas Tainog HaMurgash and Tainog HaBilti Murgash. That's the real thing. And it's Tainug. That's the important thing to understand. Okay, let's continue. The reason I am allowing this conversation and all that is because I want that we should be able to somehow relate to the principle that Rambam says, that the first principle is to know that there is a first being. The first being. What's its first being? This first being is not a result of anything. The first being is not in need of anything. This is just, and where does it come from? Why is it there? To understand that absolute truth does not beg that question. That our existence and all existence comes from a true existence, not from non-existence. And this is why it manifests itself. That when you cut your finger, it will heal, because there's a true existence behind the finger, behind the skin. All right, so as I said, we're starting the line Bob Murgash. The line begins with Murgash. It's about 10 lines from the top. When is boy shom It's explained there, that is in Samach Vav. The Bechin as a Tainug Ha'atzmi. That this Bechina of the Tainug Ha'atzmi, a Tainug Atzmi means it is not a functional Tainug. But it is an essential Tainug, a Tainug that is there in essence. It didn't come from any place. Zehu bechinas ha'helem ha'atzmi de'ein soif. The Tainug ha'atzmi, this is the bechina of the helem ha'atzmi, the of ein soif. Ein soif means what? Everything. Everything to the extent that it is nothing. It is nothing in terms of being able to be grasped, to be understood. But this is everything.
Is it called maybe in other ways it's not a Metzias?
What? We always say it's not a Metzias. A Metzias, he gives it, has a finite definition.
But this is why it has there's Tainuk, because it's a first being. It's a real
Because
being.
it's everything. As we said, where is everything? Everything is in time. Express itself in time.
That's the thing of Tainuk, is that it's
Oh.
the Tainuk is reflective of I guess etzem. That's Tainuk with everything. Even when it comes down to our level, this is still the Indian of Tainuk, that it reflects everything.
Except that when it comes down to at our level, we have everything in a projected manner, in an imaginary manner. Like I explained, when they depict this man in vacation and having everything, because his hands are thrown all over the place and his feet are thrown all over the place and he's virtually totally unclothed and he's sitting up there on the beach, and that's everything. That's not everything. That's an imaginary thing.
And therefore, it's imaginary Tainuk.
Yeah, I'm saying you imagine this machine. This is just the opposite. When yes, indeed, the weather is very pleasant, and you have a comfortable seat, and you're sitting and learning. You're sitting engrossed in learning. That's much more everything than that spread. So maybe
Yeah, so is this a correct anecdote? When it came to Chabad, I saw this between the Rebbe when he davened and my Rosh Hashivas and other Rebbeim, and the Rebbe davened in a certain peaceful way, and I was told that other people, it's more like they're taking a journey, and the Rebbe already arrived, so to speak. There's no movement. There's still. Is that almost like the Einig? I mean, the Rebbe was so close that he had like an Einig who's very loved after him.
well,
The distinction wasn't made
I
by
don't
me.
want to be guilty of being a fool to try to explain the Rebbe.
Good. That was explained to me. Okay. No, all right. Good.
I mentioned the story from the Gera Rebbe, right? He's shaking his head. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
This Eid, but the Gera Rebbe, he used to stand and give shalom. This was by the end. So this guy came off the street, and he comes over and gives the Rebbe Shalom, and he says, I wanted to get to know the Rebbe. He wants about Kana with the Rebbe. So the Rebbe says, Nee, the kannst mich schon. So, you got to know me.
Good, good. I hear.
All I want is that this is important because it's challenging to us. Every time we talk about, we are much more, especially in today's world, much more inclined to think of the world as self-development. Why is there a street? Because people thought of making a street. They don't understand that this is the original inception of the creation of the world had a street in it. Because Hu had a street. Hu Milos Oris Vichliv Shua, fill the earth and capture it. How is it going to happen? By mapping out the whole world. And the air maps as well, air lanes. Because you can't go over the world. You don't have enough time. With the air, and you can go all over. Again, when this boy, yeah, okay. So this is the.
So that's showing what? You're inclined to think the world is all due to self-development, but no. All comes from
that everything is contained in the source. Because the source is everything. What provides for all these abilities? Like we say all the time, I mentioned this. Im Hashem lo yivne Beis shov oblo beinav bei. You think you build a house because you put brick on top of brick. False. This is the Helam Ha'atzim of the Ein Sof. Because the world has an element of Ein Sof coming from Helam Ha'atzim, from Elokus, therefore that's why the world has the koyach to develop. How do you think, how does the species procreate? How does the species procreate? Do you realize that every one of us is eternal? How? Because we eat a lot of potatoes. Yes, but Beis madregos. Within this Helam Ha'atzmi there are two madregos. Aleph, k'mei shehu beHelam Ha'atzmus imamosh. Where the oinag is as it is beHelam Ha'atzmus imamosh within the Helam of Atzmus. Why does Helam Atzmus have oinag? Not for self-enjoyment, but because this is part of the truth of the Atzmus. The AyinBase, k'moi shebo b'bchinas Helam Ha'atzmi d'chochma. The second madrega is as this oinago atzmi in a poshut comes to be recognized in chochma. What is chochma? So we explained many times. Chochma, we have a mashal for chochma. Sight. Sight is exactly the thing that you're looking at. That is what you have in sight. You see it because there is this thing, because it's true, because of its presence. You don't see it because of your personal experience. You see it because it's true. And yet, there is to be understood that what you see and what it is not the same thing. It is, that is its truth. You see it because it's true. It's a different level of its truth. This is the Helam Ha'atzmi L'Chol.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand this. Don't we, you normally say about something that when you are seeing its truth, it's objective, you're seeing it, you're not seeing, there's no experience on your part. You're taking purely in what it is. Is that true?
Yes.
So how does that fit in with what we're saying here?
We're taking it what it is, but why is what it is visible? Because it has a true presence. So this is due to its truth rather than what it is.
So
we
when
spoke
you
about it.
You're not seeing its true presence.
You're not it. Are you it?
You're not it.
You're not it.
Okay.
Yes, indeed, it is. It is in its truth. That's why we spoke about it. We even pointed out that the Rambam says, "Me'amitis himotin into kolanim tzoyim." From the truth of his presence, which is a gilui of his presence, the truth of his presence, not his presence. His presence is in different realm.
The Echad here is...
Here that distinction is in order to illustrate what?
To illustrate the two madreges of Helam Ha'atzmi Haposhut K'mei, but that is Shoel B'murgash, and that which is comes in Chochma, which is B'murgash. Sight is like Chochma. What's Bo B'murgash? The truth of the thing.
Can we please just
This is what Chochma is.
Can we just please review this motion that we gave, just for clarity's sake, of sight, of seeing something, as you just did. Can you just review it over, please?
Go ahead.
No. I just want you to. I'm asking you to please review this example of a sight that you seeing something because it's true and you know this what you just said. Just review it.
Sight occurs automatically. There is not an effort on your part to see. How is it? If you touch something, this thing makes itself known to you by your touch. You experience its presence. Such you don't have to experience its presence, and yet you see it. Because in sight you're relating to a completely different aspect of this presence. You're not relating to the fact that it occupies space and that it makes itself, it takes up room and it sustains itself. You're relating to the truth of this. I can always point out, a clock is a physical entity. And it requires a lot of smarts how to put it, skill to put it together. A wall has to be built. A nail has to be made and put into the wall. Where is the real truth of this whole thing of the clock hanging on the wall? Is it the clock, the nail, or the wall? No. It's a human spirit. The ultimate, and that's not a tangible thing. That is the ultimate truth. Why was the clock conceptualized? Forget about built. What created the clock? What conceptualized the clock? The human being, the human spirit. Because a human being, he lives an orderly life, and by him time is time, day is day, and night is night, and therefore he knows that there's a measurement of day and night, and the measurement of time, and he conceptualized a clock that measures time. This is where it's coming from, and this is what it represents, and this is what you see.
And then you say what you see, but you not it.
So say that.
Right. You are not that human spirit that experience, that conceptualized this. You see the truth of it.
So that's a marshal for Chochmah. That's a marshal for Chochmah. I didn't understand the last point. I always understood just the opposite. Because a person has a chelik car,
because the person
has a chelik car, therefore he can perceive the truth of the clock. So what do you mean when you just said you're not it? How can a person perceive?
By seeing it, of course you perceive it because you have that capacity. But in sight, you don't need that. That's not. This is the sight experience itself. Is and the Chitzonius of it.
Good.
What's the distinction between presence and truth of the presence?
Truth of the presence is when the presence is when you recognize that this presence is not a precarious presence. It's not a response to anything. It has an essential truth for its presence. It's reminiscent of the fact that we're saying Etzem has everything. So once you start talking about Etzem, you can spend all your time on it. No limit.
What you call experience of sight is the fact that it occupies space and the perception of time. You just spoke about the experience of sight. Is the experience of sight occupying space?
What?
Is the experience of sight the fact that you see an object occupying space? Or it's the mushroom of Chochmah?
Experience of sight is that you see that this really exists. That's the experience of sight. It doesn't impose itself on you, it doesn't affect you, but it really exists.
And you don't become this thing that you see really exists.
That's right.
That's when you see it occurs automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we could say that you touch, you feel it because of the response. And by seeing it's not as a response.
Right.
It's more essential.
Um, ויש בזה בייס מדרגה זו א' כמו שהוא בהלם עצמוס ממש. That time to go עצמי, this is הלם עצמי דין סויב. Within that there are two madrigas. One is the way it is in הלם עצמוס ממש. In the עצם itself, ממש. It's other עצם. Beis, and there of course they have the tainug is built in murdos. Beis, kmei shebov b'chinas helam ha'atzmi the chochma. The second madrega is as this tainug ha'atzmi comes, expresses itself in helam ha'atzmi the chochma. דהיינו בחינס חוכמה הקדומה שבעצמוס. So here is the point that we were making. What comes in Chokhmah? The oineg element. Why the oineg element? Because the oineg element, that is the that says that this is that his has real presence. It's not an inadvertent thing. I don't want to go any further because you're going to. Okay, I just want to. This was already discussed. That when what we see the intangible element, not the tangible element. And the chokhmah also, what comes to chokhmah? The intangible, the oinig element.
So really, at the end of the day, Chokhmah Akduma and Tainug Ha'atzmi are very much almost the same thing. I mean,
that's right.
This is the soul of Chokhmah Akduma, so to speak.
Right. So this is why we need a little, Okay. V'hagam. Okay, let's skip that. V'hagam she'akeilu b'chinas ha'tainug ha'atzmi. Although that all of this, both the tainug ha'atzmi, the Beis hu behelam ha'atzmi d'insoi, the way it is in Atzmus and the way it is in Helam ha'atzmi of Chokhmah Hagduma shebe'atzmus. In other words, that the oineg ha'atzmi, there are two madrigas ha'atzmi in the atzmi. One is the oineg ha'atzmi, and the other is how it can be known in atzmus. Even though ha'koil hu b'chinas ha'tainug ha'atzmi, that all of this, both of these madrigas, is ha'tainug ha'atzmi. Why can it be known in Chokhmah? This is the big thing of Chokhmah, is what's known in Chokhmah? That which is an essential truth. And the motion for this, we have many Mesholim, and but just to understand the principle, like it says, that the Pikach are not nosiv malko. The Sivich Pikach says, I pick the king. And we explained many times that there is no sense to this. There is no benefit in a practical sense. Anon Nosif Malk. If you pick a minister of commerce, he's going to help you establish a business. Minister of agriculture will help you get seed for your field. What's the melech going to do? Are you going to go to the melech for a job? Nasiv Malko, because that is the truth. This is what makes everything real. This is the Chochmah. The Chochmah Hagduma Shebiatzma, Agam She'akir B'Chin Satan, Mekom Akin Zeh Chiluk. Nevertheless, there is a difference. K'mei Shehu Kol B'Atzmusei, U'k'moi Shebo B'B'chinas Helam O'Atzmi the Chochmah. The very same Tainug Atzmi, can be understood and viewed from two angles. The way it is kolon etzem, and the way it comes through and becomes known in the Helam Ha'atzmi the Chochmah. How does Chochmah know what is concealed in etzem? Because that's the special quality of Chochmah. Chochmah is not looking for something that it can experience. Chochmah is looking for what is truth behind it. So therefore, that's why it's known, like we said in Moshe for the Melech. What's in the Melech? What are you going to get from the Melech? Nothing. But that is the essential truth. And that's what Chochmah is looking for. So the Helam Ha'atzmi, the Chochmah, is looking for the Helam, from the way how things in Helam Ha'atzmi in the absence. But nevertheless, these are two madreigas. The way it is, and the way it is known internally.
Last week we said that Chochmah, in a certain sense, is even higher than Tainug.
Tainug Hagol, Tainug, as it is experienced. The experience of Chochmah is higher than the experience of Tainug. Because of the beetle of Chochmah focuses on
truth of the
right. All right. We are going to take a break. Misham, and we convene tomorrow morning.
Can't push too much because you have to be sure that you're nichnas b'shalom. Otherwise, you're not going to be yotze b'shalom. Gotta make sure we're pushing for the right reasons.
Right.
Unless the true shalom would be that you would come to the class and nobody else is here. Then there won't be any confusion.
That'd be about as peaceful as a rock.
All right, this is it for this morning. Be well.
To get involved in the Minister of Agriculture, and he pushes you to be involved in lower levels than himself.
Well, all because There is a king in a palace. So it makes everything real.
It all has to be done with him in mind.
With him in mind, with him in dedication.
Still this year? I thought we stopped.
You never stop.
That's true. No, I just understand what the Rav said based on Rambam. Mutim Tzai, so Pshat is that the truth in the etzem is that it contains everything, right? So everything you see, that's truth, but it's not the etzem itself. Is that a correct understanding of it? Midas inside, everything comes from the aspect of truth. What's the aspect of truth? That in the etzem it contains everything. So everything is truth, but the etzem itself is not truth. It's higher. It's because in the truth aspect of it. Is that correct understanding?
I explained the other day that the word truth is our way of describing it. This is not the truth.
Oh, good.
This is our way of describing it for us, because we have, in order to contrast it with our falseness, we call it truth.
So the word truth is unexplainable.
In essence, this is our attempt to refer to something that's unexplainable. But even then, it's our attempt. This is not the way it is in truth.
Shema Mushal.
It's a emotion, exactly. Anybody want some more water?
Yeah.
Yeah?